first, when I created this program, I thought it would just be about tapping into like your divine essence and expressing who you are, all the things that I've been doing recently, like and embodied. But my spirit team has asked me to step up in my spiritual abilities so fucking much to hold the Flow Living program. And I realized, oh my God, I thought I wasn't ready for this, but I'm helping other people to turn on their spiritual abilities and expand their spiritual abilities. So I feel like me working at the markets, amongst other things, has been like an intense training ground to expand what I can fucking do. Right? And after that, because I don't work at the markets anymore, like I recently had an experience where a few fears came up for me, old fears that I've had. And even my coach was like, you can do this yourself. So I sat the fuck down in meditation and I let spirit guide me. I let God guide me. And I did 3 past life clearings on myself. And I was like, whoa, I thought I would have always needed a guide to do that. And obviously, like, I recommend having a guide. I still have my own coach. But I did that for myself and it fucking worked. Like, oh my God. And the amount of magic that I implement every single day, and I just didn't expect this. And now, but of course, it all makes sense. And this has been the initiation, you know, starting at the start of this year even, the initiation for me to now have the capacity to hold the Flow Living program, right? Like I said earlier, it's all making sense. What is reality really made of? I'm your host, Carla, and welcome to Cosmic Batter, the podcast where we explore stories of the unknown and my experience of becoming psychic. This is for anyone who realizes that there is so much more to the human existence. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. I have so much to share with you, so I don't know exactly where today's episode is going to go, but I have several stories that I want to share, and I have just been through such a profound experience the last 8 weeks, and it's really starting to dawn on me just how much impact I have had, how much I have changed, what I'm calling in, the momentum that I have created, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, it's so big, and I am just in shock that it's actually happening. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, of course it makes sense. Like, I've been doing the thing, I've been doing the inner work, I've been having faith and trusting and going with the flow and all the things. So of course this is happening, right? But to actually see it being delivered by the universe, I'm like, whoa. And so I do have a couple of notes today because I wanted to make sure that I share like the most important parts of this. And you know, the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I got a download last night, and I'm going to read it to you straight from my journal. But it was a step to make tomorrow, a step I can make tomorrow. Share my story, share my essence, share all of my recent integrations and realizations, share my wins, share how far I've come, share how my family relations have transformed since healing, and how my relationships with men have evolved. Have fun with it. And so that is why I am just going to be sharing a whole bunch of stuff today. And like, if we just step back for a second, the first episode of Cosmic Batter came out on the 8th of August. And it's now the 30th of October at the time of recording this. This is 2023. Excuse me. And so the fact that it's been like 2 and a bit months and now I'm reflecting and being like, oh my God, this has happened in that time. How is that possible? And so I want to share it with you because I am just evidence of what is possible for you. And I want to bring you on the journey with me, right? Yeah. Okay. And I feel like I've been saying this a lot recently, but it's all starting to make sense. It's all starting to make so much sense as to where I have been being led, what I have been being asked to do. And I've already said this, but I'm blown away as to the momentum that has built because of the action that I've taken. And it's funny to me because when I created Cosmic Batter, I was going through a phase of like, I just need a break. Like, I need to take a step back from my business, reevaluate where I'm going, no selling at all, like no sales. I don't know what the fuck I'm sort of offering now that I had like changed so much and done all this healing work. So I took a big step back and relaxed. And now I'm like, hang on, I actually did so much stuff in that time. Like, what? Like it's not like I just took a holiday, even though I did literally take a holiday, yet all these things have happened. And this, again, is why this is so important to share. It's not about me just sitting here like talking about myself, which is fucking kind of weird. But it's about showing you like how easy it gets to be. It gets to be easy. It gets to be fun. You get to go with the flow. And that is your highest possible timeline, right? Going with the flow, this is the fucking evidence of how it works. Okay, so a little recap, and I've already said I have notes today because this stuff is fucking powerful. So this year I was invited to do some really deep trauma healing, right? January, trauma came up for me. That was unavoidable. My nervous system became so dysregulated. And I had it did feel a bit like no choice but to go into my healing. I spent 6 months going inwards, healing, childhood trauma, sexual assaults. I've had a stalker before. Like, I've touched on these things before. There was a lot, and I was surprised at how much there was, even though I knew these things had happened to me, surprised at how much there was and the intensity of those things and how much it was playing out in my day-to-day, you know, making me guarded, making me codependent, making me anxious, making me a people pleaser. And at that time also, you know, I had become aware of my wounding really showing up in my coaching, where I was the wounded leader, where I was maybe creating hierarchies or coaching from a place of lack myself. You know, so much came up for me that I was like, I have to process this because I want to be better and I want to do better. And I obviously want to do that for myself and for others. Like for my clients, I want to be able to hold space. I want to continue to elevate as a coach. So I went fucking deep into the healing work. Okay, and I came out of that a little bit ungrounded because so much of myself changed internally, right? I've touched on this before. Like, I came out of survival mode. I regulated my nervous system. So I was like, I no longer feel the need to make content for the sake of content. Can't think of anything worse. That's not in alignment. I no longer feel desperate for money. You know, I trust that it's coming, so I'm not going to sell anything that I'm not passionate about. And I took a huge fucking step back from selling anything. I felt that the universe, that I was truly abundant and the universe would look after me. And I was like, I fucking don't know then where I'm going to go, because before the healing work, I was so like driven and really excited with my work and like, I want to grow my business. I want to get it out there and all the things. And I still wanted that, but it wasn't this desperate energy anymore. So I was like, okay, what the fuck do I do now? What is my service? How do I get myself out there and call people in without my old business practices? You know, I archived all my old content, didn't resonate anymore. So in that sense, I was ungrounded because I was like, where am I going now? Now that so much of me has changed. And that's when I was like, fuck it, flew to Sydney, hung out with my friend, went to her women's circle. And I just had this feeling of, this is me embodying, you know, that I really trust the universe. I obviously need a moment to let things land. And I also had this really strong feeling that I was now doing the work all the time. Like I had a feeling that I am magnetic, period. I'm having powerful conversations all the time. Doesn't have to be recorded in a podcast, doesn't have to be recorded in a video. I don't even necessarily have to get paid for it. Like I could talk to someone on the street and that conversation would be powerful and positively impact me and the other person, obviously. But like I just had a feeling that I was doing the work always. And with that, this sense of like, well, I don't have to push then. I don't have to push. I do the work and the work I do is enough. So yeah, I just went into this state of surrender, went to Sydney, knew that I was being supported. I just started to realize like how powerful I am. And it was really about, I knew the next step would come to me at the right time. So this is the time, right? About 2 months ago when I quote unquote stepped back in my business, like I chilled out. And I really stopped worrying about money. Like I said, I didn't know what I was selling. I didn't feel like making sales. I didn't resonate with the way I had done it previously. So I literally just stopped worrying about money. Okay, then I had those ideas drop in that I would start doing psychic readings at the markets and that I would create cosmic matter. Both of these things, like I had actually had the idea maybe at the start of the year to work at markets, and I just thought it would be fun and like a good little challenge. And like, if I can channel and tap into people's energy at a busy market, then I can do it anywhere. But at the start of the year, I did not have the confidence to claim that I was psychic or a tarot reader. I just did not have that self-belief, and it just seemed like way too much effort. But this time, now that I wasn't worried about money anymore, and my spirit team low-key was like, yo, get out on the street and go and practice. So I just followed that intuitive pull. I already knew I probably wouldn't make loads of money at the market, but it wasn't about that. It was just because I thought it would be fun and I wanted to master my craft. And I had that feeling, like I've had this feeling before, that if I can do this, I can do anything. Right, which reminds me of one of the solo road trips that I went on. I went on quite a few, which really expanded me as a person. But early 2022, I went on a solo road trip just camping, and I was like, I don't know when I'm coming back. And I lasted about 5 weeks in intense fucking heat and rain. And I stayed in a national park by myself. There were dingoes. It was incredible. And I was working at the same time, working online. And at the time, very fucking stressed about money. But having that experience, I had a soul calling of like, I need to expand my comfort zone. I want to put myself out there in this way so that I have this experience behind me and a part of my story. And if I can do this, I can do anything. So working at the market was similar. It's like, if I can be grounded amongst people who may have never ever seen a psychic before, I can be grounded anywhere. Okay. And then in this time, so like started working at the markets, wasn't worried about making actual sales at all. Started to make cosmic matter just because I thought it would be fun, like literally just for fun. Then all these little abundant things started happening for me. People were requesting to work with me. I think I did mention that in another episode. Like I picked up 2 clients in business. even though I wasn't talking about business at all and had archived all my old stuff. One of them, I was helping her to start her podcast. Another, I was helping him to set up his website and make sales and call people in and elevate his content. And that was so nice because I was like, wow, even though I've stepped away from business, because for a moment I thought maybe I wouldn't be doing it at all anymore. I was like, no, people still know me and I'm fucking good at this. Like, I'm really fucking good at this. I started to get all this stuff for free, right? Like, so many times at the market, they let me set up for free. There was a logical reason behind that, but the logical reason is like irrelevant. It's abundant, right? I was asked to join the crew where I was doing dance classes. So all my dance classes were then free for months. And I picked up extra classes because of that. And it was so, so, so fun to be in the community, especially at a time where I was just focusing on fun, right? I had friends ask to do swaps with me. So I would give them part of my service and they would give me a service in exchange. I got spinal energetics. I got healing sessions from like incredibly talented psychics. I got discounts on things like, kinesiology, astrology, all these things. Like, there were just so many little abundant things happening all the time. And I've mentioned this before too, I just was continuing to trust money and focus on fun, and I fucking got a 10K inheritance early. Like, the person that this came from, they are alive and well. They just decided to pay it out early. I am forever grateful for this, of course, and I am privileged to be in this position 100%, but I absolutely believe that is connected to my embodying abundance and trusting abundance, because this is how these things work. Like, you're at a certain frequency and the universe just takes care of you. So it felt to me as well like the universe was constantly proving to me that, yeah, it actually works. Like, all these things that you talk about and do and whatever, it's like I was constantly getting that evidence. The more that you surrender and trust and go with the flow, babe, we got you. You want free dance classes? You want this? You want free food? You want free coffee? Like, we got you, babe. So that was fucking amazing. And it was so nice as well to just totally focus on filling my own cup, like, without worrying about any data, any strategy. I wasn't worried about my numbers. I didn't look at my metrics ever. Although I have been looking at how many people have listened to this podcast, and we're at over 300 listens on all platforms, including YouTube. And I'm just like, wow, thank you so much. 300 listens in 2 months. Like, yeah, that just blows my mind. But I was just focused on filling my cup, like looking after my health, right? I invested into a breathwork coach for a month. I have been investing into a strength coach, which I haven't had for some time. I absolutely love looking after my body. I used to be a personal trainer. And when I was doing all my emotional healing work, I just didn't have the energy or the capacity for strength training. So I allowed myself to rest. And now I'm like, yeah, actually, I fucking want to invest into my body again. You know, I moved out. Like I said, I had astrology, kinesiology. I had a bunch of clothes that I had picked up at the markets. Like, I love thrifting. And I took them to a tailor and I invested in getting them all fitted properly to me. I got my Ankh tattoo, the Ankh symbol on my sternum bust area. Something I've wanted for so long. And it was like, I finally had permission to wear that piece. But in the past, I would have been tracking every single cent, and there's no fucking way I would have invested so much into just stuff that I wanted to do. If we go back a year, 12 months, yeah, I would have said, you're allowed to spend $100 a week on yourself and that's it. You are not allowed to spend any more than that. And then if I would spend more than that, I would guilt trip myself so much, and I'd be like, I can't believe you wasted that money. I can't believe you spent it. I cannot believe it's gone. Where did that money go? And now being like, yeah, I am so safe. I'm so supported in the now moment. The universe wants me to be happy. The universe wants to support me. You know, whatever supports me is going to come back tenfold in my business. When I look after myself, you know, I feel better. I'm at a higher vibration. I'm taken care of. And so I didn't track any of these expenses. You know, I just did them as I felt called and as it felt right to me. And like, for example, investing into my health consistently is something I've always wanted to do because of my skin, because I have eczema. And, you know, when I was younger, I used to get really, really upset because I didn't have the money to, for example, follow a protocol, like a health protocol or get supplements or whatever. I just couldn't do it when I was younger. And that made me so upset because I so desperately wanted to care for myself and to have relief from eczema, because it can be very uncomfortable. And now to be in a space of like, yep, in this present moment, I have the funds and I feel called to investing into my health. Yeah, I can do that. I know it will come back. And like, I don't have to worry about where the rest of the money is coming from. Like, I know that it is. Okay, having said that, as I share this, I obviously have built up my business to be in this position over time. So I'm not suggesting that you personally go out and spend all your money in one go to try and prove to yourself that you're abundant, right? Like, it takes time to both believe it and have the systems to support it, okay? Yeah, because you still need to respect money. And spending it doesn't mean that you genuinely feel safe and supported by money, right? Just putting that little disclaimer in there. But the point of this is that, holy fuck, I've come a long way in my experience with money. Okay? So the last couple months have been cruisy and felt so good. And then it was like, all right, I can sense now that I've integrated some things and I'm being asked to expand again. And at first, I actually felt some guilt and shame around being asked to expand again, because I was like, oh my God, but I just took a step back. I just took a step back, say, out of the coaching industry, out of the rat race or whatever, and, you know, archived all my old content. Why now am I being asked to expand again? And I literally had to sit with that and look at what I had integrated and how my energy had changed, and that I was definitely not taking a step back, but a step forward with all I had learned and embodied. Yeah, and this is where like the amount that I've integrated starts to just blow my mind. So one thing that I felt bad about for a moment was like, yeah, the fact that I hadn't grown my business as I had hoped, like earlier this year. And then, of course, being like, well, who am I to mentor other people in their business if I was unable to grow my business at the start of this year, right? And then I was like, okay, well, let's actually go back to where I was at. I know that I've already kind of done that, but I'm going to, trust me, the journey right now makes sense to me. Honestly, at the start of this year, I probably had, like everybody, a level of PTSD from COVID and from the lockdowns, right? I was struggling to connect with people as I once did. I've spoken about it before, but I'd had that traumatic experience of losing all of my friends in 2021 when I went through my spiritual awakening amongst the lockdowns and amongst other things. My family relationships were really strained because of those things that I just mentioned, but also because of my trauma. And I'm the one that wasn't showing up fully authentically or speaking up. I would say at the start of this year, I was probably addicted to social media and my phone. I've already mentioned like the wounded leadership, having a lot of lack myself. And I've spoken before about how I've had a work addiction, right? Like using my business to try and escape myself. Those are things I was still dealing with at the start of this year. And I look at where I'm at now, and for example, with my family, we have come such a long way. And yesterday I had lunch with my family and I told them how my podcast is doing really well, that I want to have a podcast tour, which I'm sharing here now as well, where I'm going to fly around Australia to interview my friends, like the people that I'm connected to that I want to have on the podcast. And I'm in a position where I can do that. I can fly around the country just to record episodes so they're high quality. It's a fucking business expense that will both fill my cup, fill me with joy, like fill so many of my needs and desires in traveling and having fun, you know, connecting with my friends, but also will greatly impact the fucking world. Like, people will listen to this and benefit, and it will call in clients, and the whole thing will be an abundant experience. My family knows that I'm psychic. I told them about some of the recent stories that I've had, and I'm going to share one really, really big one towards the end of this podcast, a story, about a man that I met at the market and his spiritual experience. So I could tell my family these things. People that before I felt didn't understand me and therefore like didn't want to know me, or they, you know, they didn't love me, or they were judging me. Like, that's how I felt. But because of the healing and the conversations that we've had, I could then tell them all these things, and I felt loved and supported. And I've said this before, like, that feeling of love, connection, and support, wherever it comes from for you, it doesn't have to be like family, but like, that's the real privilege. And to just reflect on me and my journey, that felt closed off to me before, right? I went through a period of like really struggling to connect with parts of my family, and to now have done the work and have changed that, like, yeah, I'm allowed to be like, go me. And it didn't come from a place of like, oh, please accept me, like, please love me, like that, you know, that wounding. It came from like, no, this is me. This is me. This is what I need to feel loved. I did have some difficult conversations. I did set some boundaries. I did take some time and space. And from that place, now I can open, like, through that work, I've actually been opening my heart and being vulnerable, and to now feel that love and receive that. And receive is such a big word. And I feel like with everything I've been through recently, I am starting to understand how the universe really does want you to be abundant, and it's up to us to receive that. Right? Like the experiences that I've been through recently, the whole point of this fucking podcast, like me stepping back and just doing stuff that's fun to me, and then the universe supporting me consistently. And it's like, oh my God, has this been here this whole time? Like, I just had to fucking chill out this whole time. I just had to follow the nudges where I was being called this whole time, and it was always going to work out for me. Are you kidding? Like, it's that simple. So yeah, anyway, my family, I'm so grateful for my family, and I love my family. And now I can say that absolutely in truth, which is special. Where was I? Like, talking about, oh yeah, how like I felt bad for wanting to grow my business and then realizing that I've actually leveled up and this is what I'm taking with me. Right, yeah. Breaking like toxic social media use, breaking like wounded leadership, like me taking so much ownership, being self-led. Like, I have been doing the inner work first before I tell anybody else what to do, which I now feel I don't do that. I have just been taking ownership for my life. Like, I am responsible for my success. I am responsible for my health and well-being. I am responsible for getting paid. Like, I am responsible, especially if we talk about money, because like I literally was just talking to one of my clients about this, and we think that like, oh, if I had more clients, then I would have more money. If I could just get more people to join, then I would have more money. And it's like, actually, having money and getting paid, that's on you. That's not on your clients. Like, you are the one that needs to get paid. And yes, that money might be delivered through people, but it's your responsibility to be open to it in the first place. Are you taking the action? Are you setting accurate prices so that you get enough money to live? That's on you. Like, that's on you. And for me to have stepped back in my business and been like, you know what, I just need to integrate some things and I'm not in a position like to sell, for example, and I was just doing what I needed to do. That's being self-led, and then the money just came. Like, make it make sense. Like, it makes sense, but make it make sense. And sorry, I feel like this is a bit scattered, but whatever, we're just going with it. Like, if I then look back at, no, I know what we're talking about. We're talking about how my vibration has elevated and what I'm taking with me. If I look back at my fitness business, where I was working 60-hour weeks, I had like 5 or 6 casual staff, and I needed them to operate the business because it got like so big and had so many deliverables and all these like complicated systems and strategies and things. Like, I was making 5 figures a month, but I was spending like at 4 to 5 figures a month just running the business. I was so fucking burnt out. And the reason why I walked away from my fitness business, like one of the main reasons, was I realized this is not successful to me. There's no actual profit. I'm killing myself trying to work like this. This is not a successful business to me. And I felt trapped in the rigidity of the business I had created, like what was required to keep it alive, right? And how many people listening to this right now might feel trapped living week to week, trapped trying to get enough money to get by? Like, I fucking get it. And the fear that if you stop or slow down, like everything will collapse, you'll fucking be homeless. Like, I get that fear so much more than you could possibly understand. I get it. And so I was like, I'm just not doing this anymore. I'm going to learn how to do better. And to now be in this business, and this is the biggest realization I had as to why I know my fucking stuff, like, right, is to have looked back at the last 2 months at me chilling out in my business. To have the freedom to do that, the freedom to go inwards, the freedom to do the healing that I needed to do, to have the time to take off and reassess where I'm going and what I want to do and how I want to show up. That's the fucking business that I always wanted. It's here now. The success is here right fucking now for me. Even if my bank account doesn't reflect that, even if like there's so much more growth that I want to tap into, it doesn't matter, because the experience that I've had recently is everything that I ever wanted. My business is an expression of me. My business supports me. My business is not a soul-sucking ball and chain, you know? I'm not trapped in it. Like, my business flows and evolves with me. I get paid to be myself. I get paid to have fun. The universe wants me to be myself. The universe wants me to share who I am and what I love with other people and to call them forward into their purpose. Like, it gets to be that magical, that beautiful, and that fun. And it bloody well is available to you too. Which is why I was told to sit here and talk about this. And as I say this, it's fucking 222. Like, bitch, the synchronicities are so real. Ugh. I don't know what that sound was. Just ignore that. But like for me, so like I said, I felt bad about being asked to expand again. I felt a little bit of like, oh, but I just took a step back. And then to be like, oh my God, the step back in itself was powerful as fuck. Like, is that not the freedom and self-expression and abundance that you desire in life? To have that capacity to do that. And the best thing about it is knowing now, holy fuck, because of all this stuff I've integrated, the trust, the authenticity, the leadership, the being self-led, trusting the pull to expand again, trusting the pull to invest in myself, to look after my health, to study again. I'm working with a coach again. Like, in trusting that pull, I also know that my entire reality is going to change and I will never be in a position of struggle ever again. Like, I already knew that, but like yesterday, I know things are about to change for me intensely in the most wonderful, magical, awe-inspiring way. And I'm so eager to see how the universe delivers it to me and therefore to everybody that's listening, everybody that's on this journey with me. Okay, a few other little things I wanted to share around how much I have reflected and realized that I've integrated. Because like I said, I made some notes because this stuff is so important. My relationships with men. It's hard to even put into words how much this has elevated. I've already mentioned some of my like trauma, and I didn't realize, how much I struggled to speak up in the moment around men, and therefore had gotten myself into hot water in the past, and also like how closed off my heart was. And again, with that, like how low my self-worth was, how low my standards were. Now, that doesn't mean that I was just accepting anything, but more that I just like wasn't considering dating or love at all. And that I deep down was like just feeling unworthy, and like that the type of person that I was looking for didn't exist. Okay, and so then after my trauma healing, to then start salsa dancing and be talking to men all the time, and like coming out of COVID and stuff as well, this truly is significant. I think we underestimate like how important things are sometimes, but salsa dancing, talking to men all the time, holding their hands like crazy, I know, but like with lots of people, and meeting good, healthy men, like healthy masculine men that are genuine, men that really did just want to be there to do class. There were a couple creeps, I'll be honest. There's always a few. But if someone was creepy, like I then had the ability to practice setting the boundary in the moment, right? There was only one person in my entire time of salsa dancing in the last couple months, only one person that I felt so uncomfortable with that I stopped the dance and walked off. So I think it's good that there was only one, but I was so incredibly proud of myself for being like mid-dance, you know what? This does not feel right, and I don't have to be here. Because these little things matter. Like, if I go back to last year, I can't believe it was literally only last year, I had a lesson with a surf instructor, older man, and he kept pushing my boundaries a little bit, saying things that were a little inappropriate, like kind of giving me a hug or whatever. And I kept saying in the moment, that's weird, but I'm sure it's nothing. That's weird. I'm sure he didn't mean that. That's weird. Like, how many people listening do that to themselves? Okay, and then he assaulted me. Like, I've spoken about it before. I'm okay with it. And to come out of that and be like, I fucking knew something was not right, but I refused to acknowledge that. And that is conditioning and programming, right? It's like, it's not my fault that happened, obviously. But if I had just said something earlier on, like, hey, this is odd, this doesn't feel right, or obviously fucking left, the outcome would have been different. So for me now, to have gone to salsa dancing, be talking to all these men all the time, and then to be trusting myself in the moment and not needing a logical explanation as to how I feel. Yeah, I mean, there's more on that with men. Like, I got invited on a few dates recently and they were so fun, but also, again, knowing in my gut if it was a yes or if it was a no, and then just being like okay with that. I'm like, excuse me, Miss Secure Attachment. Compared to like my old codependent, like anxious self, like, oh my God, do they like me? Come such a long way. Okay, and also with, water break. Oh my God. Man, I can talk something. Hey. With my psychic abilities and integrating that since like July, August, like it literally hasn't even been that long. Yeah, I started reading tarot last year, like for kicks. I didn't know I was psychic. But my abilities and working at the markets was so fucking good because, like I said, I did learn how to channel no matter what was going on. Like, I learned to ground, drop in, have the channel tune into the person in front of me, no matter what. But it was also such a good practice, excuse me, like a meditative practice, because I would just wait and I knew people would come, but I was like, yeah, they will come to me. I don't need to wave anybody down or open any conversations. I just sit and I trust. The people who are meant to find me will find me. And like literally, that is something I have always wanted in my business, to truly believe people are going to come, right? Again, if we reflect on when I had my fitness business working 60 hours a week, I would message like 25 strangers a day. And then when I had an assistant, I got her to do it. And like, I was that person doing cold outreach, right? Fuck those people. Fuck anyone that's still doing that. Not really, but whatever. I would cold message people. I did paid advertising. I was spending like $1,500 a month on paid ads because I was so desperate to get people to me, to make them see me, to get myself out. Like, I didn't believe that people would just come, right? And so then to be at the market reading my book with just a little sign and like, yep, people will come, they will sit down, they will feel called to work with me. And of course they did. So practicing detachment, trust, mastering my craft, and a really important thing as well, if I ever went there and was like, oh, I really hope I make money today, it would always be super slow. And if I went there and was like, you know what, I want to do some fucking readings, I hope some people sit down and we can have fun together, then I always had my most abundant days. So there was so many like lessons in putting myself out there like that and developing my abilities. And with that, coming out of this process, like my next program is Flow Living. And at first, when I created this program, I thought it would just be about tapping into like your divine essence and expressing who you are, all the things that I've been doing recently, like and embodied. But my spirit team has asked me to step up in my spiritual abilities so fucking much to hold the Flow Living program. And I've realized, oh my God, I thought I wasn't ready for this, but I'm helping other people to turn on their spiritual abilities and expand their spiritual abilities. So I feel like me working at the markets, amongst other things, has been like an intense training ground to expand what I can fucking do, right? And after that, because I don't work at the markets anymore, like I recently had an experience where a few fears came up for me, old fears that I've had. And even my coach was like, you can do this yourself. So I sat the fuck down in meditation and I let spirit guide me. I let God guide me. And I did 3 past life clearings on myself. And I was like, whoa, I thought I would have always needed a guide to do that. And obviously, like, I recommend having a guide. I still have my own coach. But I did that for myself and it fucking worked. Like, oh my God. And the amount of magic that I implement every single day, and I just didn't expect this. And now, but of course, it all makes sense. And this has been the initiation, you know, starting at the start of this year, even the initiation for me to now have the capacity to hold the Flow Living program, right? Like I said earlier, it's all making sense. It's all making sense. Okay, we are almost done for the day. And this is the story that I wanted to share with you, this fucking powerful experience that I had at the market. So yeah, I was at the market and I got there on Sunday and I just had a feeling it would be a really busy day and I could feel like this intensity in the air. And then all these little abundant things happened, like it rained a bit and a friend gave me his marquee and somebody bought me a coffee and I found this stunning dress for $10 and I was like, wow, that's abundant. This is abundant. This is abundant. But then all day, I didn't make any sales. And I was like, that's fucking weird. I have never had a day where I made no sales. Like, it was just super, super weird. But I was like, well, I'm going to trust. Trust because I had a feeling it would be a busy day. So who knows? You know, we'll just sit in trust. And then near the end of the day, this man, probably in his 60s or 70s, who I had met briefly before, he asked about my story. And so I just started to talk to him. And as I'm telling him this story, he starts to cry. And he opened up that he has been going through a very intense spiritual experience. He feels that he may be, you know, somewhat near the close of his life. And he had been getting visited by his ancestors. He had been having flashbacks to past lives and understanding that he had actually lived before. And with that, he was releasing and processing emotions every day and realizing, oh my God, why didn't I do this earlier? You know, now I'm almost near the end and there's so much to do, so much to let go of. Why didn't I do this earlier? And I knew in that moment that I was being asked to just be of service that day. So I held space for him and, you know, I said, the healing starts now. It doesn't matter about the time that's passed. It simply starts now. It is never too late. And that I could offer him comfort, like it's okay what he's going through and I get it. I understand. And the message for me, like to have this intense experience and to hear his story, it was just like, yeah, again, like the time is now. The fear that we feel, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear around money, it's all a distraction. It's all a distraction. Let it go. Don't let it slow you down. Don't worry about fear. Like, it's normal to feel it. Take the fear with you. Do the thing that you want to do and take the fear with you. I do it all the time because, you know, even though this man is now on a wonderful journey and he's done some of my classes that I suggested to him and the healing has begun, which is amazing. But we have that ability fucking right now. And it again made me be like, wow, if this is the intensity and the impact of my work, I need to keep stepping forward into that. I need to keep speaking about what it is that I do, how it works, because people need me and people need you, the person that's listening. People need your help. Whatever it is that your essence is, they need that. They need your help. They want your help. And the universe wants to support you in sharing your message and your purpose. The universe wants you to be rewarded for following that call, right? This is why, like, when we are burnt out and struggling, a part of that is the universe saying you are meant for more. The universe is not going to reward you for being off the path, so to speak. The universe wants to encourage you to take action, to do what you came here to do. And that's where your abundance lies. That's where you will be abundantly supported. Okay, and that's not to say that if you're burnt out, you're doing anything wrong. Not at all. I've been through that. We've got to get through that to align with our path. I understand. But my point is that just whatever your soul calling is, where you're feeling that pull, where you're feeling that nudge, follow that. Because whatever your magic is, your essence is, people need your help. And it's becoming now so clear to me and so much easier for me. And this is why I'm making this whole freaking episode right now, because the same is true for you. And I would love to help you on your journey, right? I'm being called forward into my power. I'm now understanding my power and everything that I've integrated and learned, and what my essence is, my ability to go with the flow and trust and grow, and that abundance is my birthright. Abundance is my very nature. And the same is true for you. And I want to activate your abilities and your power so that you can step forward and have impact as well. So that you can have fun in your life and just do things that bring you joy, as I have. And you can have so much fucking fun and get paid for it. Like, get paid abundantly, because you deserve that. Okay, there is only now. Like, just remember that man's story and him being like, I wish I had done this sooner. We can do it now. He can do it now. He is doing it now. So you can do it now too. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to make one more point. Like, I said this to, my beautiful client, and I was like, I need to integrate this as well. It's all very well to get stuff for free when we're being abundant, like all the things I said before. So grateful for that. But being abundant, like, the next step is accepting and receiving overflow. And that's what I'm moving into. I so appreciate that the universe has just given me things recently. And of course, I continue to welcome that. But now I am ready and open and receiving right now in this very moment true abundance, financial wealth, stability, savings, consistency, overflow. And that's where I want to get you to as well. Not just trying to scrape by with abundant discounts and things. Again, we still welcome that. But consistent fucking cash flow, doing your life's purpose, having fun with your magical essence and getting it out to the world. Okay? This is what flow living is all about. Celebrating your gifts, celebrating your natural essence, and amplifying that and expanding that. This is for either someone who's already working for themselves and you want to bring back that spark and connect to the 5D, like connect your physical business to your 5D abilities and expand that so you can collapse time, make more money right now, like quantum shift your entire reality, step forward as a leader, all of those wonderful things. Or this could be for somebody that has a soul calling, but maybe you still have a regular job, but you know that you're meant for more and you're ready to put yourself out there. You're ready to figure out exactly what your essence is and to start living abundantly right now. Even if you don't have like an actual tangible service or product yet, you are ready to be abundant now and you want to learn how to tap into that. One of the beautiful people that is already in this program said she wants to break the belief that she's a starving artist. She's so done with that. And like, I get that because when I used to work in theater, I assumed I would be a starving artist. Fuck that belief. We are rewriting that. You deserve to be paid for your work. You deserve to be paid for the impact and creativity and joy that you bring, and expressing yourself and sharing that with other people matters, and you get to be paid abundantly for it. Okay, if you are feeling the call to this, flow living is for you. So if you are listening to this and you're feeling that soul calling for more, that little nudge, that little, nervous excitement around expanding and stepping into your power, flow living is for you. We start November 11th. If you are interested, send me a message. I am doing calls now, so you can chat to me about where you're at and, if this program is right for you. And this is going to be a powerful fucking community of like-minded humans who are growing and expanding and creating a beautiful life, right? I just know we are all going to have the most divine transformation as we go into next year. If you're interested, send me a message right fucking now. I would love to talk to you. Okay, and I'm going to wrap up this podcast by sharing with you the things that are coming for me, because like I said, I'm going through the biggest quantum shift. I know my entire reality is about to fucking change, and I'm ready for it, and I'm declaring it, and I'm saying it here for evidence, right? So first of all, I'm getting a new surfboard very soon. I need a bigger surfboard. To do that, I'm also getting a new car. I will be selling my current car, and I want to get a van or a car with like a rooftop tent. And I feel like that's going to happen within 6 months. I also have a gut feeling now that I feel so safe and supported, and I've moved out and I've integrated all these things, I will be moving again within like 6 to 12 months. I have always felt called to move north, like where the weather is warmer. And I just know that invitation is going to come through for me. Either like it will happen while I'm on my little podcast tour. Yeah, which I mentioned before. It'll happen on my podcast tour or something else. I just know the opportunity is going to come up and I'm going to be in a position to just take that opportunity and move. Right? So the podcast tour is also me flying around the country, interviewing people on my podcast, having massive impact, incredibly potent conversations, all the fun things. I also know 5-figure months, I'm thinking like 30K months consistently will be happening like within 6 months. I know it's already done. I am so safe to receive. All this stuff I've done, I look back now, I'm like, oh my God, it's actually powerful. I didn't even like pull back. I actually just did what I was being guided to do. And now with Flow Living, we get to grow and expand and evolve together and develop our abilities, our intuitive abilities, and bring together the 3D and the 5D. And I'm just like, oh my God, the journey is just beginning. I'm just blown away. And I'm in immense gratitude for everybody that has joined me so far, everybody that is joining me as of today. Yeah, I mean, the better it gets, right? With all these things that I know are coming for me, imagine what's going to come after that, like in another year. I think we will leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Cosmic Batter. We will talk again soon. Much love. Bye.